It's me. It's me. It's Matty G.
And I'm Richard Eric Jarvi.
And this is Class Action.
The classiest movie show on the interwebs.
How easy was that?
To see how it goes?
Yeah, that's how it goes. Oh, dude, how are you doing, man?
Doing good. We met up. We met up in real life.
Damn it, you killed the joke.
Ah.
I was gonna say it's been a while since I last saw you, but as Jarvi just noticed, Jarvi was in London the other day. We met up in Notting Hill. Went for some quesadillas.
And now I sound like I'm from London.
You sound like you're from London. Yeah,
we went to see the Harry Potter platform 9 3/4.
Yeah, we went to see platform 9 3/4. There was a massive queue to take a photo with a sign.
Where Matty, when we went inside the store, Matty was yelling out loud, "Nerds!" to everyone in the store. Like, seriously, I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, this is probably, they're going to throw us out in a few minutes. But well, they didn't. They didn't.
It was just the irony that I was yelling out "nerds" when I'd spent the weekend before at a Star Wars fan convention with a bunch of nerds. But that's fine. Nerds run the world, apparently. And
that's true.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a minute since I've been on Class Action. Shout out to you and Paul for last episode, holding down the fort. That was the one episode I'm fucking gutted I had to miss. The right movie won, in my opinion. My proxy vote, swung the tide as it should have been. But
it was a close one, though.
It was very close. I even said to you the other day when we were hanging out, that some of your points, while they were very well put, I think at the time I would have taken severe umbrage with. And but we're not here for that. We're here today to talk about we have two Europeans on the show. No POD, unfortunately. He's got real life shit to do. But we got two Europeans talking about two movies about two American sports franchises.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, though. We're not sure. Well, we're gonna do a good job, but we're not we're not American, so we're gonna just we're just gonna talk shit.
Did you ever play rounders at school? Was that a thing in Estonia?
Rounders?
Yeah, rounders.
Explain the game.
It's essentially just baseball, but with a smaller, like one handheld wooden bat.
It sounds like cricket.
No, cricket is like you have the longer bat and you hold it like that. Rounders, you literally have it's a one-handed bat. It's about that long, and it's essentially baseball. And you just whack it and then run around the field to get back to where you started. Essentially baseball, just with a one-handed bat.
No, never done that. Sounds like something you could beat someone up with, though. I feel like I could have used that in high school. No, not me. Defend myself. I mean,
no, I'm just saying me. No comment. No comment. I may or may not have got a detention for that. The guy threw the ball and it hit me in the nose. He had it coming. Shout out to William Harold in the chat. Kelly, always. It's okay, Matty. We took severe umbrage with Jarvi.
Umbrage. Is that a very British word? I've never heard umbrage before.
It just basically means you were wrong and they held you to account for it.
It sounds like Umbridge, like from Harry Potter. Oh, you haven't seen it. Never mind.
That's probably where the character got the name from. But yeah, today is a very big one because, as I said, two Europeans discussing two American sports movies. We're doing Moneyball versus Air. Jarvi, I hate to ask you this since we're covering them both on the show today. Have you seen Air, and what did you think? Please tell me you've seen it. At least.
Of course I've seen it. It was a couple of weeks ago now. And Air is my number one movie of 2023 so far. Yeah.
Wow.
Dungeons and Dragons had the number one spot. A week later, it got bumped by Air.
I still need to see that. So wait, where's John Wick 4?
It's not on the.
Moving on. Wim here in the chat. You guys are going to talk about the Michelle Yeoh movie was just announced for an hour, right? No, because I have no idea what movie was just announced. I have been working, and I'm sure Jarvi has been recovering from his vacation.
From the quesadillas.
From the quesadillas. Oh, damn it. I woke up yesterday thinking about those things. I was like, oh, take me back. I was like one of those chicks. Hashtag take me back. Yeah. What were your thoughts on Air?
Yeah, I thought Air was, well, so much more than I was expecting initially. I thought I was just going in for, a fun corporate level movie that's going to have like awesome Matt Damon in it, awesome Ben Affleck. They're going to be riffing. They're going to be enjoying themselves. It did deliver on all of that, but I did not expect how much deeper the movie goes. And there were some like amazing speeches, like 3 speeches that made this the #1 movie of the year so far. It was from Jason Bateman, Viola Davis, and Matt Damon. They all had 3 big speeches in that movie, which were just so much fun. And I mean, the music, we'll get into that when we talk about it in the category, but Air had some fucking bangers in it.
Yes. My overall thoughts were, I like this trend that we seem to be getting. It's been slowly building over the last few years with The Social Network, Steve Jobs, now with Air, in that you have these movies that talk about successful brands and successful companies and the legacy that they have built. This one specifically, it's not about Nike as a brand. It's about the Jordan, which I own 3 pairs of Jordans. Like, that is a staple of like footwear and like the whole sneaker culture. I would love for there to be like a movie about sneaker culture and like, buying like vintage shoes. I feel like the Jordans were like the ones that really sparked that off. So it's kind of like its own little genre in a way.
Oh, for sure.
It's starting to form.
I get it.
I really like it. I really, really, really like it.
Is that a movie? Do you think this movie will get some love in the Oscars race for next year?
I don't think so, because I feel like
no,
I don't. I would like to, because I think I would like to see Viola Davis walk away with something.
Yeah, she was just so damn good.
I think she was so integral to this part of the movie, and we're going to come on to that. I'm going to bring up a point in that vein. I feel like if there is one person in this movie that should be up for something, it should be Viola Davis.
Yeah, she brought the spirit of Michael Jordan, who, well, spoiler, Michael Jordan isn't in the movie as a face. He's just a figure.
Apparently they couldn't.
Just a voice. No, they Ben Affleck set out not to, because he's a legendary athlete that I feel like shouldn't be recast. You could de-age him, do him like that, but I don't know. The fact that we didn't get to see his face, I think, made his legend even more sort of menacing, or the presence of him. You felt like, oh shit, he's in the room right now. But Viola Davis was the spirit of that legend. So she pretty much carried what she had to do and who Michael Jordan was as well.
And there were a whole lot of like licensing things around this movie. I was watching there's a show on Complex where they take like actors and athletes and celebrities, they take them sneaker shopping, and it was Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and Chris Tucker. And they were saying there's so much that like they couldn't promote the shoe around the movie. Like they couldn't do like a signature Jordan line for the movie. They couldn't like monetize off of the shoe. It was like really weird. Like they could use it, but like only in certain ways. And there was a whole bunch of stuff around it. So yeah, I'm all for more of these. But let's get into our first game. We've been rambling somewhat for 10 minutes here. So with POD not here, we decided we're going to do an Ed Harris recasting because he's not here. Of course. So we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, I mean, we usually do wheel now, but this is PLD's game, and we're just rubbing it in his face because he's not here. I mean, why the hell not?
Yeah.
And you could, and the reason why we even started doing Ed Harris is because, spoiler alert, it's PLD's favorite actor. And how does he say it always? He's
the best
so he
character
has
actor of
he
all
has a lot.
time.
He's the best character. He elevates the movie. He's always
He elevates
100%.
the movie. He makes a great movie perfect, a good movie great, a bad movie watchable.
Yeah.
Yada 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 yada.
So now, what are we gonna do, Matty?
We're going to recast Ed Harris, or put Ed Harris into a role. So we either take someone out of the movie and put Ed Harris in, or we come up with our own role for Ed Harris to play. William, I'm not going to put that on screen. Just know I think that's hilarious, but for obvious reasons, I'm not going to touch that with a fucking 10-foot pole. But yeah, Jarvi, you said you had one for Moneyball, so I'm going to let you go first.
So fair warning, we decided right before the show to do Ed Harris. So mine was
we're going completely off the
cuff.
Yeah,
pretty off the cuff. But there's loads of choices here, and I feel like I think Ed Harris would have been so great as the head of the scouts that sit at the table, the old timers. There's a guy like Ken Medlock who plays Grady Fuson. Yeah, he's like the leader of the pack who are at the table. Like, you got to listen to us. Put Ed Harris as one of those characters. I mean, he's way scarier, way more scary.
I would love. This is a complete comedy casting, so it probably wouldn't have even fit the role. Probably wouldn't even fit the movie. I would love for them to like put a little bit of makeup on Ed Harris, make him look like a little bit younger, and have him as like some old veteran player.
Oh, yeah.
That was like on the retiree circuit or something, or like was just about to retire, but they were like, no, let's get him back for one more season. Like, he's still got a little bit of spark left in him. We can pull him back for one season and give him like that real underdog story. So I would have had Ed Harris as like some like
the Kevin Costner from For Love of the Game, like the old pitcher or someone.
Yeah, something like that. That would be what I would put Ed Harris in, and like I would change the story in that they win the final game, but it's like Ed Harris that wins it for him.
Well, that's For Love of the Game. You're pretty much retelling For Love of the Game.
Yeah, pretty much.
When you were saying that you want to put makeup on Ed Harris, I thought you were going to go with Billy Bean's daughter, Casey Bean. Well, I didn't know what you said. Ed Harris with makeup. That's immediately where I went.
Ed Harris singing at the end.
Yeah, with a guitar. Okay. Just ripping.
Okay. Where are you putting him in Air?
There's an obvious choice for Ed Harris in Air. I would have him as the Chris Messina character. I mean, he's constantly on the phone. He's yelling. He's anxious. He's arrogant. I mean, just the phone slam. Ed Harris has that down. And yeah, I mean, it's an easy one for me. Easy one. As Ed Harris is David Falk, just slamming the phone down. Because he's up there, and they're down here.
I would.
And we phoned the wrong goddamn room.
He wants to speak to Michael, but Michael's in like the office upstairs, and he's like, no, he's up there, you're down there. You called the wrong goddamn boardroom.
Yeah.
I would go with Peter Moore, the guy who designed the shoe. Something about like Ed Harris just in a basement obsessing over basketball shoes.
PLE would be having a fit. You're putting Ed Harris down in the basement.
Hey, if he makes bad movies watchable, he should be able to do anything, right?
He should light up the basement.
He should light up that basement. But something about him just like being like this odd, weird, quirky dude that's like, and then Ben Affleck just walks up to me and goes, I need the greatest basketball shoe ever made. And then Harris just being like, done. I feel like he could do it.
Dorky Ed Harris. I'd like to see that. Dorky Ed Harris. I don't think he's ever played dorky though. He'll probably do it.
I would be surprised if he hasn't, but like that's a man's man. Like
I'm sure
not
PLD has, like, in 1937 there was a
he probably come up with some role that he played. But yeah, that is casting. We've got a few in the chat. I'm not going to touch that one. Ed Harris's How? I like that. Ed Harris is Jerry Sloan. Okay.
Oh, Art Howe, yeah. PSH. Yeah, that's
I believe Sloan was the first Bulls player to have his jersey retired.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I think there's loads of roles you can put Ed Harris in.
I mean, he's the greatest character actor of all time. So
yeah, and these movies seem like they're very well made for him.
Ed Harris. So it's just Michael Jordan with Ed Harris's voice.
It's better than the previous one.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. But okay, Jarvi. Actually, before we do, if this is your first time watching Class Action, please leave a like, leave a comment, tell us how wrong we are. We love hearing how wrong we are because we don't give a shit. But also, we are on a push for 500 subscribers to the channel. We're currently on something like 395. So if you guys could even like just share the link, share the channel, share the stream, tell a friend, tell your nan, tell your dog, whoever, just tell someone about this show, please, because we have this small little target that we're pushing towards 500 subscribers. If you could help us get us there, we'd really appreciate it. But Jarvi, for those of you who have never seen an episode of Class Action, what is it?
Well, Class Action is a show where we take two movies, actors, franchises, we put them up against each other, and with custom-made categories, we decide which movie, person, franchise is the winner. Now, we say custom-made categories. Now, having done this show for like 30 episodes now with the new iteration, these categories are pretty much becoming, preset categories, which I think is actually a damn good idea. I think movies should all be on a level playing field. So the ones that we have, we kind of switch out the last two, but the main three ones are usually the same. And for this instance, we have better lead. So we're putting Brad Pitt against Matt Damon. We got better supporting cast. We got all of the supporting cast against the supporting cast. Which movie has the better story? Which movie has the better music? And which has better legacy? So this is going to be an interesting one. We're going to speculate the shit out of it because we got no idea how it's going to fare against time.
To explain the legacy category, it's one that I came up with. It's which of these movies are we still going to be talking about in 10 years' time? Which one do we think is going to have the better longevity overall? So it's kind of a mix of rewatchability and I guess buy or sell. If you guys have watched AMA, they have their category of buy or sell. It's kind of a mix of that and rewatchability. So it's a new category. We're going to give it a go. We're going to give it a shot. But Jarvi, why don't you tell us what is our first category for this week?
Okay, so first one is better lead. We're putting Brad Pitt against Matt Damon. And man, before we get into this, all of the categories, all of the decisions are they're so close for me. They're all so damn close. So whichever way I'm going, I just want you to know I love both movies, and this is hurting me.
Yeah, this is a great movie, and we've already got a kind of snap judgment in the chat. The great Mike Deacon from What the Show. People are going to remember Air because of the content.
What do you mean because of the content?
Because of this show.
Oh, this show.
Yeah, because of Class Action with content.
Oh, I'll take that.
And another one from Chris, though. I think Moneyball beats out in every category.
Every category.
Interesting. Huh? Okay. Well, let's get into it. Best lead.
Let's do it.
Do you want me to start or do you want to go first?
You go ahead. You start off.
This one for me, I got to go Damon. I got to go Matt Damon. I think he put in a more impassioned performance than Brad Pitt. I feel like some points Brad Pitt was just there being Brad Pitt, if it makes
I
sense, like
totally know what you mean.
he's there to like be broody and cool and edgy, but that's Brad Pitt, like in every movie. Like he's just Brad Pitt is one of those guys, he can play himself, and you like, wow, that was amazing, because Brad Pitt is amazing. Matt Damon in this goes from down in the dumps, like miserable of his life, creates this brand, like, and he's all in on it. There's that sense of desperation in there, and I think that comes across in this movie because it's his and Affleck's first movie with their production company. So in that sense, this movie kind of mirrors their real life situation, and I think that led Damon to be more like to put more into it because it was so relatable to him. I don't know about Brad Pitt's personal life. I don't know if he is an Oakland Athletics fan, but it just seemed to me that there was more, like, I don't want to say that he phoned
More
it in,
passion.
more passion. There was more passion to his performance than I got from Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I completely know what you mean, but I think this is pretty easily Brad Pitt's category. And your reasons, I think Matt Damon plays a great Sonny Vaccaro. I think you're spot on. He's passionate. I mean, he hits all the beats. He delivers a really solid performance. But I could see him being switched out by another actor. Now with Pitt, I think Brad Pitt is like, we talk about the cruisiest cruise. Brad Pitt is the pittiest Pitt in this movie that we've ever seen him. But
I don't think that works the same.
Pittiest Pitt.
Yeah, that works the
but
same.
It really works well in this movie. I think he's performed, like the way he is the kind of arrogant, sort of has that know-it-all like feeling about him.
Yeah, cold towards the players, kind of like he doesn't want to get involved in their personal lives. So
it's much more subtle performance, but I think like because they have pretty similar struggles. Matt Damon has his family struggles. Brad Pitt has his family struggles as well. But I think he does it with more nuance, with more sort of tenderness and subtlety. And I think I can't really recast Brad Pitt with anyone else. I think you're completely right. He does the Brad Pitt thing, but I think it's the best Brad Pitt that Brad Pitt has done, if that makes sense.
Wow.
The best Brad Pitt that Brad Pitt does. So you get it?
Okay. So it's the best version of himself.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think for this character and for this movie, it's just spot on. It's superb. Yeah. So because of that recast factor and the fact that I can't think of anyone as Brad Pitt, as Billy Bean, gotta go with Moneyball.
Krista in the chat saying Brad Pitt works 60% every time. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's fair. I'll remember air every time I put my shoes on. Nice. Fellow Nike guy, William Harold. I like that. Mike Deacon. These are both phenomenal movies. You are not wrong. You are not wrong, my friend. And Kelly, Pittiest Pitt. Put that on a t-shirt. What about Prettiest Pitt? Because he's a pretty guy.
For sure.
I think we could change it to Prettiest Pitt.
But Pittiest sounds kind of like dirtier for some reason.
Anyway, moving on.
Better supporting cast. Second category. This is fucking impossible.
Dude.
This is such a tough category. You have Air, you have Viola Davis, Jason Bateman, Chris Tucker, Ben Affleck, Chris Messina. Then you have Moneyball, Jonah Hill, Robin Wright, PSH, Chris Pratt, and the Old Timer Scouts, who I think are freaking awesome castings. I know none of these guys. I know none of these actors, but they are so damn well cast in this movie. I said it in the intro as well. I think Viola Davis and Bateman, out of the supporting cast, give amazing speeches. Then in Moneyball, you have Jonah Hill, who is, I think this could be Jonah Hill's true breakout role when it comes to acting. I mean, Superbad was a few years before that. This is like his first time where he's really sinking his teeth into like a serious role, and I think it works so well. I mean, he does some of that Jonah Hill stuff, that comedy bit, like when he's on the phone, he does that like that one scene where he just friggin' fist humps when he gets the deal done. I think that's a great moment. I think PSH, whatever he's doing in the movie, he's like he has that look that freaking terrifies me. He's
so if Henry Cavill was in Air, would you be picking Air instead of Moneyball?
Well, you always got to go Cavill over PSH. I mean, come on. No.
I had to bring it up.
Not always. It's just that I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to get dragged into this. And Chris Pratt also is having sort of moments in this.
I didn't recognize that was Chris Pratt at first.
You didn't? Okay. No. Well, that's a good performance, and it's just him coming off of this goofy thing, trying to get into more serious stuff as well. Yeah, I think Viola Davis and Jason Bateman, like these two, have these great speeches that elevate the movie for me. But I think overall, Moneyball has more of a solid supporting cast. I think what PSH and Jonah Hill do is untouchable in that regard.
Yeah.
Even though we were talking about Viola Davis and how freaking awesome she is.
So for me, I find it hard putting Viola Davis into the supporting category.
Oh, really?
I would put her as more, and that's not me like invalidating your argument. This is my personal thoughts. I would have her as like a co-lead because her character in that deal does not get done without her. So from how I viewed the movie and how I came to the conclusion I'm about to come to, I completely took her out of the running when I was thinking about supporting cast. My MVP for the supporting cast of Air was Chris Tucker. I thought Chris Tucker, he had his Chris Tucker funny moments, but then there was this scene at the airport where he tells Sonny that Adidas have matched the offer, and he's just like, dude, I'm sorry, man. And then he's hanging up, he's leaning up against the phone box, and it showed that like Chris Tucker can really act. Like he's got he's got so many tools in his toolbox other than the ha-has and the comedy. And then he has the speech about how like he always goes to the parents, like the parents are the key. And that leads Sonny to be like, hey, I'm gonna go do that. That's a good idea. But Jonah Hill never ceases to amaze me at the level of range that he has. Go like PSH, regardless, he's great in everything. Jonah Hill can go from Superbad to this and then turn around and direct something like mid-90s, which is a cultural piece on the 90s Los Angeles skateboard scene. Like that man is so multi-talented and multifaceted that you could almost just drop him in anywhere, in any movie, in any role, and I feel like he'd be able to do a good job. And it wouldn't just be, oh, that's a Jonah Hill movie. Like it would be someone else's movie, but we're talking about Jonah Hill's performance in that movie. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, he got an Oscar nom for Moneyball as well.
Exactly. So I think I'm going to have to give this to Moneyball as well.
Good call. Yeah, we're agreeing on the second category, better supporting cast. Next one, better story. Which movie has the better story, better script, better story?
This one I'm still up in the air about, and I think I'm going to talk myself into my argument here.
Up in the air?
Very good. Jesus Christ. I know the story of Moneyball is very it's kind of a true story, but like there's some parts of it that were like skewed and taken and moved around. I do think I do come at this with a little bit of bias because all the shoes in my closet are Nike. I'm a Nike guy, but there's something about Air being an underdog story of them having their backs like firmly against the wall, everything riding on this one thing that needs to happen, this one success, this thing that they didn't even think was possible. You go to the start of the movie, they write off getting Jordan completely. I mean, you look at the two scenes where so like they're in Moneyball, they're talking about what players they can get, and in Air they're talking about what players they want to go for. Those two beats are very much the same. So comparing these two stories is kind of difficult because they're so similar. But I think I'm going to give it to Air because that feels to me more like a true underdog story. The Oakland A's, they found a way to game the system. Like they had this super genius who knew how to game the system, had a sure thing that, and yeah, it didn't work for a while, but they knew it would. And I feel like there's something more to the desperation and what was at stake for the Nike basketball department at that time, especially up against Converse and Adidas. Like those are two. I know Nike now. What's weird is now Nike owns both of them. So I feel like the underdog story is a bit more pure to me in Air as opposed to in Moneyball.
No, I think I get your reasoning. Yeah, with Air, they had to succeed or it would have been game over. With Moneyball, they could have lost another season and, life goes on. But these people were just running it everything on that one thing. Yeah, I get your point. This again is such a tough category with both being true stories. I think Air delivers a more straightforward story with minimal side stories. I think Moneyball is a little bit more layered, and we get like many sides of Billy Beane with his own struggles mixed in, and the fact that he's trying to reinvent the game. Both movies managed to tell like a relatively boring story in a really entertaining way. Because on paper, like these movies, they're not like blockbusters. They're not movies you would think, oh, I got to see this in the cinema.
Who cares about the goings on in a boardroom in a billions of dollars worth company? Like,
yeah, exactly. On like a corporate level movie. I mean, where's the commercial appeal in that? Air does it in a more, I think, glitzy and a more commercial way with its visuals and the tempo and the music. I think Moneyball is more intricate. It's more slow build, but I think it manages to grasp the importance of what's happening and how they change the entire game of baseball. This is really close because Air does the same thing. It changes how deals were made. It changes how a brand is viewed as. But I think with the slow build motion of Moneyball, I have to go with Moneyball, even though Air is a more glitzy and commercial choice. Yeah, I think, and I'm because I'm more biased towards Air Jordans as well. I have Nike in my closet. I've never played baseball. I don't give a shit. But that movie did manage to pique my interest and really made me like look up what actually happened. Yeah, it hurts, but gotta go with Moneyball.
No, that's fine. That's fair. It's equally as compelling story. The thing with me was for picking Air, I wanted to look at Jordan's legacy, or it was tough for me not to look at Jordan's legacy overall. But Air is not about his legacy overall. You have the bit at the end where it goes through everything he accomplished and all that he's worth and how much the shoe is worth now.
And his highlights.
And his highlights, his lowlights, but the movie's not about that. This wasn't a Michael Jordan biopic. If you want that, go watch The Last Dance. But this was a movie about Nike, the brand, and the shoe. So it was almost like I had to take the Jordan part out of it and focus solely on the Nike part of it. And that was pretty hard to do, because even while I was talking there, I was like, yeah, but you got the Jordan legacy. No, can't think about that, because it's not a story about his legacy. It's one part of it. Dude, William.
Well, that's I mean, kind of.
I mean, if the second one is
In a fun way.
if the second one is LeBron's biopic, then holy.
Yeah.
Okay. Next category.
Next category. This is a good one. This is better music, and this is easy for me. This is the easiest category by far. I think Air just takes this so fucking easily. I mean, Moneyball has, you know, the score. It has what is it? I think the song is called "The Might of Rio Grande." It has that sort of electric guitar. That's the song that's pretty much used in every sports movie. It friggin' fits into Moneyball as well. But Air has some of the best 80s hits, which just make this movie so damn enjoyable. I mean, the soundtrack itself is a fist pump upon fist pump, and it makes this a truly like an 80s movie. It's just listen to it, search it on Spotify. I mean, you'll have loads of fun with this soundtrack.
I mean, yeah, I'm looking at it now, and I mean, as soon as you hit "Money for Nothing" by Dire Straits,
it starts off with it.
You've got me.
Yeah.
That song is timeless. You know, "Money for Nothing," "Chicks for Free." Like,
do you know which movie also starts with that same song, with its opening title? We actually did it on the show quite recently.
I forgot.
Yeah, it's Kingsman. First Kingsman.
Oh,
starts off with "Money for Nothing," Dire Straits.
But then you get like the Beverly Hills Cop theme at one point in the movie. You got "Shop Territory" by Tangerine, "Born in the USA" by Bruce Springsteen, and then they have the full like conversation about what "Born in the USA" is actually about. And I was just like, wow, I didn't think they were thinking about that in the 80s. I thought like back then they were just like, yeah, it's a song about being born in America, yeah. But apparently
I didn't know that either. That was a good story.
I didn't know, but you know, I got educated on that as well. So yeah, I think this is an Air double banger for me.
Yeah,
like 2 points to Air on this
one. Moneyball has like these great moments where it builds up, and then it has the good song. But it's just Air is just like All Rise. The entire playlist is like All Rise. It's perfect. It's so damn good.
Okay.
Are you keeping score though?
I am.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I am. We're not having a miscount debacle. Yeah. We don't want to have to issue another fucking apology live on the channel.
So final category. That's your category, Matty. Better legacy.
Okay.
Which one stands the test of time?
I think as good as Moneyball is, there are better movies in this genre.
About baseball?
About baseball, sports in general, like sports underdog stories. I think there are better movies than Moneyball that are more legendary. And the same can be said for Air, because you have Social Network, but you also have lower lows in House of Gucci. Like that, with this new genre of brand biopics, I think Air, we're going to look back and see that was one of the building blocks of this genre 10, 15 years from now. I would like to see Moneyball get that same respect, but when you have other movies in similar veins of it that are more higher regarded, it's weird because I want to say Moneyball, but I think I have to say Air because of the how do I put this? The opportunities that are there to go forward with other like legacy brands and tell their stories. Like we've had House of Gucci, that sucked. Social Network, incredible. Steve Jobs, awesome. That's a matchup we're probably going to do later on down the line.
Yep.
Now you got Air. It's like think of all the other ones that could come from this and like tell a different story. These like corporate biopic stories. I think there's more possibilities there. And I think Air will be looked back on as one of the building blocks of this new genre. Whereas Moneyball will kind of be like, oh, that's another great movie amongst a bunch of other great movies. So I'm going Air. I'm going Air.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit unfair because Moneyball came out 12 years ago, but Moneyball has that argument for it that it has aged extremely well so far. There's no telling that movie was made more than 10 years ago. Like seriously, you could have that movie in the cinemas, except for Brad Pitt hasn't aged either. You could sell this as a movie that came out this year, and I think the story is very underrated. Like I didn't know anything about baseball and the fact how the game was changed, but it mattered to me. I think Air Story feels like I think Air Story will be remembered more because everyone knows about Nike and Michael Jordan. It remains to be seen like how Air will do in the Oscars race, but I think that's also a big factor of how the movie will be remembered and the legacy for this, which again Moneyball has going for it. It has a lot of Oscar nominations. Aaron Sorkin wrote Moneyball. You can feel that in the story and the script. I do think that Moneyball is rewatchable, but Air, in this regard, the commercial appeal of Air and the fact that it is more rewatchable, it's an easier watch to me. And because of the brand and because of Michael Jordan, it does have a better legacy. And this category is going to Air as well. Yeah.
I was back and forth
there. I was back and forth there.
Was not expecting that. I was expecting you to go with Air. So
no, I went with Air.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to go with Moneyball, but yeah, this was a lot closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah. Well, I went. I think I went. Well, I'm not going to say what I did because you're gonna tell the score.
I mean, the only, if we look back at this conversation, the only like slam dunk argument that either of us had was music. Or home run. Yeah. God, I even said slam dunk without knowing the pun, the own pun that I was making.
That's what I'm here for, the pun master.
Yep. But like the only one that we had a definitive this is the way, sorry, different show, argument for was for music. We're fairly back and forth on the cast and the story, which shows how great both these movies are. I think you're right that Air is probably the more rewatchable of the two. From say if I'm with just someone, any random person, and want to stick a movie on, I'm more likely to stick on Air than Moneyball. Unless I'm like with you or Paul or our good friend Ben Bateman who loves Moneyball.
Or Bateman. Yeah, he's all about Moneyball.
Yeah, I'll watch Moneyball if I've got Bateman over, but you know, if I've got some other like random person over, I'll stick Air on. But
you stick it in the air, like you just don't.
Jesus Christ.
We gotta wrap the show up.
Shall I read out the score now? Are we?
Do it. I want to know which one because I actually got no idea. So Air versus Moneyball. What's the score?
Air score.
Do we have a winner?
We do have a winner.
Good.
At a score of 6-4.
Oh.
Your winner. Air.
Air won?
Air won.
Holy shit. I thought it was going to be Moneyball.
I was looking at the score while you were making your final argument, thinking, holy shit, are we about to have a hung jury here? Are we going to have to, because PLD didn't put in a proxy vote. I asked PLD before the show if he wanted to put in a proxy vote. I didn't hear from him. So
Well, he hasn't seen the movie yet. He and PJ haven't seen the movie. I know Christo's gonna be freaking livid now because he wanted Moneyball to win.
Yeah. Christo's already livid. Look at this. Hard to believe I will get any nominations for Oscars, and the winner is Tenet.
I think it might get some nomination. I think Viola Davis, like you said, is gonna get a nomination. I think the script might get a nomination because it was a blacklisted script, right? That got made.
Was it? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a blacklisted script that can't remember who actually took over the script. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon helped with penning it out eventually, but there was another Jeremy Connery, something like that. Can't remember by heart. But yeah, I think Air will get some love, but Air got love on Class Action. Air versus Moneyball, Air came out on top because Air is on top and let's end this.
Okay. You want to talk about the next one that we're gonna do? I mean, I kind of alluded to it. So
is that next? Is that the next one that we're officially doing?
Yeah, I think so. Do you want to lock it in for that being the next one?
I'm game. We're doing really intelligent movies.
I like this because the show's called Class Action, but like we did a whole run of like putting 80s action movies against each other. Mm-hmm. So doing something a little different. We'll get back to the cheesy action. I mean, look, we got Mission Impossible, the new Mission Impossible coming up. That's gonna be heavily featured on the show. I'm putting in that we should do a Mission Impossible tournament, but that's when that will reopen the PSH versus Cavill argument, and I don't think we need to go through that. But
because Cavill's gonna fucking pulverize you.
Easy. Jarvi, where can the folks find you? Oh no, I haven't even said what we're gonna fucking do.
I thought you were building up to it.
I know, I was so busy looking for the thing to close the show out that I wasn't even fucking concentrating. We are going to be doing The Social Network versus Steve Jobs.
Mm.
And then maybe after that, we can do The Big Short versus Wall Street or something like that.
Is it both movies by Aaron Sorkin in some regard? Isn't Steve Jobs directed by Aaron Sorkin? Isn't it that? Or was that Fincher?
No, I think it was Fincher.
No, it was Danny Boyle. My bad. Danny Boyle, but Aaron Sorkin did pen it. Yeah. And The Social Network, directed by Fincher.
Mm. Okay, so that will be in a couple weeks' time. We thank you, everyone in the chat, for joining us. We know without Paul, it's kind of an easier sell. But we miss Paul. I haven't done, other than Holy Snokes, we haven't done a class action with the three of us in a while. So
I miss Paul. We give him shit, but I do miss him.
Yeah, we give Paul shit, but like he does the same to us, so it's fine.
Yeah.
We need to have PJ on the show at some point as well. We need to get PJ back on. Yeah, this is fun. This is always a good time. Jarvi, where can people find you online?
On Facebook and Instagram at Richard Eric with a K Jarvi, and here every Tuesday with Matty and PLD.
Cool. And you can find me on Twitter at Matty Gunner, Instagram Matty_Gunner. You can find my band Mourner, MOURNER, on all streaming platforms. Brand new song, The Axe Forgets, is out now. Please go check that out. We have new merchandise up on. Thank you very much. We have brand new merchandise up in our merch store. Go to mourner.co. Click the link. That'll take you to buy some t-shirts if you like looking cool. If you like people telling you that your clothes look good, head over and buy a t-shirt. You can find me here every Tuesday with this handsome man and PLD. Look at that. Look at him. It's glorious. You should see him in person too. It's beautiful. Like the sun was in my eyes watching Jarvi walk down the street. And you can find me here every Wednesday with PLD for Holy Snokes, a Star Wars podcast. And yeah, we got the Mandalorian season 3 finale tomorrow, which is sure as shit to be incredible.
Oh, it's gonna be a banger.
It's gonna be amazing. Again, if you're new here, please give us a like, hit the comments, tell us if we're right, tell us how wrong we are. We can tell you honestly either way. Probably not going to sway our arguments, but there you go. And subscribe. We're on our way to 500 followers, 390 odd. Jarvi's going to want to hit the mallet any second now. So with that being said, justice is served.
And court.
And court. I was going to let you do it. Justice is served. Court is adjourned.